we are.
Hello, this is George.
And Bonnie.
This is Adonai Sanctuary Truth Classroom. December 23rd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday. And we're going over chapter 9. Well, my sweetie's going to start out by reading 1. Chapter 9, verse 1.
Abimelech, the son of Gideon, I almost said Simeon, who went to Shechem to his mother's brothers and spoke to them and all the whole clan of his maternal grandfather. He said...
Now, wait a minute. Remember what 8:33 said last week? My sweetie's going to read 8:33.
But as soon as Gideon was dead, the people of Israel again went astray after the Balaam and made Baal Brit their god.
As soon as Gideon was dead, they made their false god out of Baal again. Gideon's concubine had a son called Abimelech. He also had 70 sons with many wives. He died when he was old. Maybe he was wore out. That was the end of chapter 8. Abimelech had a plan. He said, read 2 and 3.
Please ask all the men of Shechem, which is better for you, that all 70 sons of Jerubbaal, that's Gideon.
Jerubbaal, yeah.
Rule over you, or that one person rule over you. And remember that I am your blood relative. His mother's brothers spoke to all the men of Shechem and said this about him, so that they followed their feelings and supported Abimelech, arguing, after all, he's our brother.
He asked the men of Shechem, do you want one ruler or 70 rulers? Since Balaam or Gideon died. Remember, I'm your flesh and blood. And they supported him. After all, he was their relative. Even in this day and age, a ruler can rule for the people or rule over and maybe destroy the people. Interesting thought. You really think about that.
That's right.
70 pieces of silver were taken from those worshiping Baal to be distributed amongst the people. Well, maybe my honey can clarify that statement. Read verse 4, please.
They also gave him 70 pieces of silver from the temple of Baal Brit, and he used these to buy good-for-nothing thugs to follow him. I like that. Good-for-nothing thugs.
One Bible stated he hired reckless adventurers. We like how my honey read it out of the Complete Jewish Bible. It states he paid good-for-nothing thugs. I like that.
Yeah.
That's just not something you'd hear in the scriptures.
No.
Then he wanted to show how or who was in charge. Going to his father's house, he had a party where all of his half-brothers were invited to participate. But only 69 showed up. Read 5, please.
He went back to his father's house in Ephraim and killed his brothers, the sons of Gideon, all 70 of them, on a single rock, except Joram, Gideon's youngest son, who stayed alive because he hid himself.
Joram, the youngest son, hid himself. Then, well, my sweetie's going to read 6.
All the men of Shechem and all Bet Millo got together and went and made Abimelech king at the oak by the sculpted pillar in Shechem.
The people of Beckham, how do you pronounce that? Shechem. Shechem made Abimelech their king, and they did it by the culty pillar in Shechem. That was interesting. Then Gideon's youngest son, Yotan, gave a speech from the top of Mount Gerizim. Read 7 through 21. Now I can take a rest.
When they told this to Yotam, He went and stood on top of Mount Gerizim and shouted, "Listen to me, you leaders of Shechem. Then God will listen to you." Once the trees went out, to choose a king to rule them. They said to the olive tree, "Rule over us." But the olive tree replied, "Am I supposed to leave my oil, which is used to honor God and humanity?" Turn the page. "Just go and sway over trees." So the tree said to the fig tree, "You come and rule over us." But the fig tree replied, "Am I supposed to leave my sweetness and my good fruit just to go and hold sway over the trees?" So the tree said to the grapevine, "You come and rule over us." But the grapevine replied, "Am I supposed to leave my wine, which gives cheer to God and humanity, just to go and hold sway over the trees?" Finally, all the trees said to the thorn bush, "You come and rule over us." The thorn bush replied, "If you really make me king over you, then come and take shelter in my shade. But if not, let the fire come out of the thorn bush and burn down the cedars of Lebanon." Here's the point. Have you been honest and straightforward in making Abimelech king? Have you been fair with Gideon and his household and treated him as he deserves? My father fought on your behalf, risking his life, and rescued you from the power of Midian. And now you are rebelling against my father's household? You've killed his 70 sons on a single stone and make Abimelech, the son of his slave girl, king over the men of Shechem, because he's your brother. I say this, if you are dealing honestly and righteously with Gideon and his household today, then you may enjoy Abimelech and he may enjoy you. But if not, let fire come out of Abimelech and burn up the men of Shechem and Bet Millo, and let fire come out of the men of Shechem and Bet Millo and burn up Abimelech. Then Jotam fled, making his way to Beer, and he lived there for fear of Abimelech, his brother.
The comparison, the good using full, great plants that produce wine, grapes, whatever, and refer to Abimelech as a thorn bush. Then he fled to Beer and lived in fear of his brother. But if you really study it, Abimelech's party was kind of short-lived. Read 22 and 23, dear.
Abimelech was chief over Israel for 3 years. But God sent a spirit of discord between Abimelech and the men of Shechem, so that the men of Shechem dealt treacherously with Abimelech.
For 3 years?
3 whole years.
Then, well, you might say, the party's over. Why do we say that? Read 24 and 25, please.
This came about so that the crime against the 70 sons of Gideon might be avenged, and the responsibility for their bloody death be placed on Abimelech, their brother, who murdered them, and on the men of Shechem who helped him kill his brothers. So the men of Shechem sent men to ambush him on the mountaintops. They robbed everyone who passed them, and Abimelech was told about it.
Abimelech wasn't getting the money. And his men of Shechem, those thugs, robbing everyone. Things are starting to fall apart for him. This Abimelech. Then comes along a son of a slave. Interesting. Read 26 and 27, please.
Gael, the son of a slave, came with his brothers and went to Shechem, and the men of Shechem put their trust in him. They went out into the field, gathered their grapes, and pressed the juice out of them. Then they held a feast and went into the house of their God to eat and drink. And there they insulted Abimelech.
Oh my goodness! The king was losing control. This new guy, Gael, Gaal, was the son of a slave. And then this new guy and some of the men of Shechem had a party, eating and drinking, and they were insulting Abimelech. Gaal asked, "Who is this Abimelech? When this guy puts a challenge, then this guy puts a challenge out for Abimelech. Read 26 or 28 and 29.
Gaal, the son of a slave, said, "Who is Abimelech? Think of the contrast with Shechem. Why should we serve Abimelech? Isn't he the son of Gideon? Isn't Zebul his officer? Serve the men of Hamor, the son of Shechem. Why should we serve Abimelech?" You said 20, and 29.
28 and 29.
"If I were in control of this people, I'd get rid of Abimelech." Then addressing his words to Abimelech, he said, "Come out and fight. I don't care if you make your army even larger."
Abimelech, bring out your army. Let's fight. Then the governing ruler of the city gets upset. Read 30 through 33, please.
When Zebul, the ruler of the city, heard the words of Gaal, the son of a slave, he was enraged. He sent messengers to Abimelech in Tormah with this message: "Gaal, the son of a slave, and his brothers have come to Shechem, and they are inciting the city against you. You and the men with you should come up right now at night and lie in wait in the field. In the morning, get up early as soon as the sun rises and attack the city. Then when Gaal and the men with him come to fight you, do whatever you can to them."
Well, then this guy, Gaal, gets what he asked for. Read 34 through 40, please.
Abimelech and all the men with him came up by night and lay in wait against Shechem in 4 groups. Gaal, the son of a slave, went out and stationed himself at the entrance to the city gate. Then Abimelech and his men rose from their ambush. When Gaal saw the men, he said to Zebul, "Look, there are men coming down from the mountaintops." Zebul answered, You're seeing the shadows on the mountain, as if they were men." Gaal again said, "Look, these men are coming down from the main hill in the land, and one group is coming on the road from the fortune teller's oak." Zebul said to him, Where's your mouth now? You said, 'Who is Abimelech? Why should we serve him? Aren't these people you despise? Go out and fight them." So Gaal went out, leading the men of Shechem, and fought Abimelech. Abimelech gave chase, and Gaal took to flight. Many fell wounded, strewn all along the way to the city gate.
Now, Shechem was where Abimelech kind of took over. But Abimelech actually lived in a place called Arumah, Arumah, which is about 2 miles south of those backstabbing people in Shechem. Those people who lay
Good for nothing.
wounded and dead in the field and all the way to the city gate of Shechem. The next day the people went out into the field. Abimelech got revenge on all of them. Read 41 through 45, please.
Then Abimelech took up residence in Arumah, and Zebul drove out Gaal and his brothers, so that they could not live in Shechem. But the very next day, the people went out into the field, and Abimelech was told about it. He told his men, divided them into 3 groups, and lay in wait in the field. When he saw the people going out of the city, he came out of hiding and slaughtered them. Abimelech and his group rushed forward and occupied the entrance to the city gate, while the other 2 groups attacked all those in the field and killed them. You said 244.
45.
Abimelech fought against the city all that day, captured it, killed its people, destroyed its building, and sowed its land with salt.
Now, I noticed in verse 41 is where she read that Abimelech actually was from, what was the name of that town? Arumah?
Arumah?
That's the one I was trying to say before. Might have been a little bit ahead of myself. He started by destroying their buildings and putting salt on their land to destroy any of their crops. Then comes the ultimate revenge. Read 46 through 49, please.
When all the men at the fortress of Shechem heard about this, they took refuge in the stronghold of the temple of El-Brit. Abimelech was told that all the men from the Shechem fortress had gathered together. So he led all his men up to Mount Tezmon, where he took an axe in his hand, cut a branch off a tree, and laid it on his shoulder. Then he said to those with him, "Quick, do just what you saw me do." They all did likewise, each man cutting a branch, and they followed Abimelech. They put the branches up against the stronghold, set them on fire, and burned down the stronghold, so that all the people of Shechem's fortress died. About 1,000 men and women. Duh.
If you think about it, he took wood and laid it around that temple. It must have been some dead trees around, because it'd been kind of hard to start if they're all green. So he got the fire started with the dead ones. That was just my assumption. The people took refuge in the temple of El-Brit. They got some wood, laid the wood against the temple and lit it. About 1,000 men and women died. Then Abimelech feels the power of a certain woman. Oh boy. Read 50 through 53.
Then Abimelech went to Tezbeth, set up camp against Tebez, and captured it. But there was a fortified tower inside the city, and all the men and women took refuge in it, everyone in the city. They shut themselves inside and went up on to the roof of the tower. However, when Abimelech approached the tower, attacked it, and then came up close to the tower's door in order to burn it down, a woman dropped an upper millstone on Abimelech's head, cracking his skull.
A woman cracked his skull. But he wasn't killed, but he wasn't going to be killed by no woman. 354.
He quickly called out to the young man holding his armor, "Draw your sword and finish me off, so that people won't say a woman killed me." So his attendant ran him through, and he died.
Hey, you kill me, so people won't say I was killed by a woman. I guess it would have been an insult for a soldier, a king, to be killed by a woman. Either that or he had a real problem. The men of Israel did what? Read 55. This is interesting. After all this fighting.
When the men of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, they all went back home.
They went home.
See ya.
Interesting. Then the scripture states, well, read 56 and 57, please, honey.
This is how God paid back Abimelech for the wrong he did to his father in murdering his 70 brothers. God also repaid the men of Shechem for all the wrong they had done. On them came the curse of Jotan, the son of Gideon.
Adonai paid those who rebelled against him. The curse of Gideon's son, who was still alive, was called the curse of Jotan, son of Eobel. What are some of the... Now, this is interesting. I don't know why I thought about this. It must have been something I read. But what were some of the history points of that place called Shechem? My sweetie's going to read one. Well, she's going to read two. She's going to go Joshua 24:32.
The bones of Joseph, which the people of Israel had brought up out of Egypt, they buried in Shechem, in the parcel of ground that Jacob had bought from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of silver, and they became the possessions of the descendants of Joseph.
In Shechem is where Joseph's bones are buried. I never really remembered that until I went back and studied that. Now she's going to go to Bereshit or Genesis 12, 6, and 7 for something else that happened there.
Abram passed through the land to the place called Shechem, to the oak of Moreh. The Canaanites were there in the land. Oh, sorry, I got to read 7. Adonai appeared to Abram and said, To your descendants I will give this land. So he built an altar there to Adonai, who had appeared to him.
Adonai gave Shechem, by name, it says Shechem, to Abraham's descendants. Then we find that for raping their sister Dinah in Bereshit 34, her brothers stated that all men must be circumcised before they would allow Dinah to be married to the ruler's son's be the ruler's son's wife. I remember that. Then when they were all in pain, her two brothers slaughtered every one of the males in Shechem. Shechem seemed to be a place of good and then evil. One more. We found out that in Shechem, another thing happened there. In all reality, the nation of Israel split into Judah and Israel. That study will be coming in 1 Kings 12. That one place, Shechem, had so many things with and to it in the history of Adonai's chosen people. Now, to us and to me, that was interesting.
Yeah.
How many times do people really stop and think about all the things that happened? And I didn't remember that
No.
all that stuff happened there.
Way
Did you,
long
George?
before Judges.
No, none of it. I
Way
knew
long
those things
before
happened,
Judges.
but I didn't know that they all happened in Shechem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, next Tuesday we're going to have a good long talk. And we're going to have, what?
Next Tuesday?
Oh, no.
No, not next Tuesday.
Two
That's only the
Tuesdays.
30th. Yeah, 2 Tuesdays.
Remember, the
The
first Tuesday of January, I believe it's January 6th,
6th. Yep.
we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to do a lot of talking, and she's going to read just a little, but they're going to line up. You might say with truth what Adonai wants to be said. Now, I know that makes it sound like we're something special, but we aren't. We're just saying what Adonai wants you to understand. And we believe it's important. And first Tuesday in January, you'll either hear it and be mad at us, or you'll hear it and understand that he wants you to understand. Hear truth, anyway. Whether you want to understand it or believe it, that's your choice. It's anything we go over. That's your choice. People, the first Tuesday in January
Amen.
will be important. Now, I was thinking today to talk about this, but I don't think I should. I hear on TV all the time that if you send $19 a month,
No.
it's only 63 cents a day. Send it here, and we can do whatever we can do with that money. I don't want it. That's a joke. But it's funny that everybody is hitting for $19 a month. And one place says we only need 3,000 more people to send $19 a month.
Reach your goal.
Now that, well, if it's for the animals or some lawyers that don't call themselves lawyers, but they want $19 a month. And if there's only 3,000 new people that do that, new people, not the ones that are already doing it, but new people, I sat down and figured that out. If 3,000 new people send $19 a month, that's over $680,000 a year, more than what they're being sent now. Now, I can't tell you what to do. If you want to send to them, that's your business. And there's a lot of them out there. I don't know how much of it goes for operational, how much it goes for the people that run the place, and how much actually goes to the activity that they're presenting it for. That's your job to look that up, or if you even care. But that was kind of cute. I told her I was going to ask people to run $19 a month. That's a joke. Don't send it. But it would just tickle me today when I figured that out. Over $680,000 if those 3,000 more would just sign up today in the next 10 minutes, whatever they say. But anyway, I hope you have a good couple of days from now. Have fun.
Merry Christmas.
And we'll be talking about the 2-day holiday that you people will be celebrating on the 2nd.
Mhm.
And you have a fantastic week. We'll see you next Tuesday. Or we won't. Bye.